Ryan with Playing for Second, and today I am back with another solo session, and I thought I would play one of my newer arrivals, and that is Kinfire Delve, specifically the Callous' Lab Kinfire Delve. There are 3 versions of this game. So we're already set up, ready to go. Go ahead and join me at the table, and let's see how we fare. Okay. So as I mentioned, we are set up. So the 3 of these games, I've played the other 2. I have actually not played this one. So I'm not really sure, what all is in store for me here. Probably nothing great, but they all play very similarly, if not the exact same. In the middle of our board here, this is kind of our board, if you will. We have our boss, Callous. So in this particular boss starts with 10 progress tokens on him, and I assume that there are going to be ways to take those off, because if he ever loses those 10 before we get to the bottom of the well is basically this stack of cards, we lose. So that's one way that we can lose. The other way we can lose is to lose all of our health. And we start with, they give you a little D10 here. We start with 10 health. That's what we have is 10. If that ever reaches 0, we lose. There are also exhaust cards here. In the previous versions, those exhaust cards also had ways for you to lose. And these cards might also have ways for you to lose. The only way to win is to get to the bottom of this well deck. We've removed 4 cards already as part of setup. Once you go to draw a card from that deck and you can't, you enter the boss fight portion of the game. Now, when that happens, these 4 cards will go away. 4 new cards will come out that are, I think they're called gauntlets, and they're specific for the bosses. And you cannot attack the boss, at least in the previous 2. You cannot attack the boss right away because they don't have any weaknesses to any specific colors. You have to take out the gauntlets around them. 3 of the 4 will give them a weakness to the colors. And what I mean by that is you'll maybe notice around the board here, there are red cards, there are blue cards, there are green cards. In your hand, which I haven't drawn yet, in a solo game, you get 8 cards. In your hand, you are also going to have red, blue, and green, and also white. White are wild. They can be used as any color. So for me to defeat this card, in the top left here, that's the number 8, that tells you how much progress you need to put on that card to clear it. Once you clear the card, you will get the reward, which is this little top portion with the trophy there. If you put progress on it but don't clear it, that's considered a failure. The card will stay out with the progress on it that you've made, but it's considered a failure, and you will take the negative effect with the skull there. The other thing you need to be aware of the cards is there are different kinds of cards. We have traps, obstacles, and combat. I think those are the only 3. Those will only come into play if you have specific cards that will maybe do something special or say something, hey, this is worth 2, unless it's a trap card, and then maybe it's worth 3 or something like that. Then you have to pay attention to what kind of card it is. Otherwise, you're just going to be playing a card on your turn, 1 card, if you want. This is optional, you don't have to. But effectively, you're going to decide which one of these you want to go after. Right? So let's say I want to go after that blue one. I'm then going to look at my hand and I'm going to decide what 1 card I want to play out of my hand to attempt to take down that blue one. So let's say I do Capture Rune here. Ignoring all text and everything right now, this card right here would be worth 3 progress. Now in a solo game, you can boost that card twice by yourself. If you're playing, every box is built to play 1 to 2. And if you have multiple boxes, you can actually play up to 3 or 4. But when you're playing solo, I can actually boost this card with 2 other cards from my hand. But you do have to be aware of a couple things. 1, this is a hand management game. When your hand runs out, you have to draw an exhaust card effectively to get more cards into your hand. And exhaust cards are not good. And 2, you have to watch the color. So on the bottom of all these are the boost value. You're going to ignore the top. But you are going to look at the bottom to be able to boost that. So now this is a blue card. So this card here, which if I'm playing it for a normal action, can count as a blue or a green, but for boost, it is only a blue. This would give me +1 damage, +1 bow and arrow, and that gets into her ability that we'll go over here in a second. Or I can play this one, or I can play this one. Because it's white, it can be played on any color, and that would be a +3. So if I chose to, I could play these 2 cards for their boost values. So I would have a 3 plus 1 plus 3. That is 7. After that, you're going to roll these dice. Three of the dice have the three colors, blue, red, and green, on two sides. So there's a 1/3 chance that this is going to roll the color you want. All three of these dice are like that. This die either has kind of a dark blue, blackish symbol or a white symbol. If you roll white, that is a wild. If you roll black, that's usually nothing. Sometimes it's a bad thing depending on what cards are out. So I would roll these, looking for blue. I got no blue. So in this case, that would be 7. I would put 7 progress tokens on that card, and I would do the negative effect because I did not clear it. In this case, that negative effect is I would discard 2 cards. And that is effectively what you're doing. Now, when you clear these, so let's say that was 1 blue, because that's all I needed, I then would be putting 7 plus 1, and this could go up to 4, but obviously it could also be 0. As long as I hit 8 or more, this card would go away, and I would take its bonus, which in this case says to remove 3 cards from the well deck. So 3 cards would go from here to the well discard pile, and then I would replace that card with another card from the well deck. So you're attempting to, and that's going to be, for the achievements for what you're getting when you successfully do these cards, that's going to be primarily what you see, is getting rid of cards from the well. That's how you get through here. And then the negative effects could be losing health. It could be discarding cards. Certain cards will have a special negative effect for itself, basically, just based on what it says. The cards themselves that are out here do have effects on them. There's 2 different kinds. There's just the effect of the card. So for instance, this green one says, if completed, draw 1 card for every excess progress on this challenge. So it requires 7, but this is a way to draw cards without exhausting for every excess progress you put on it. So that's a fun one. And one that if you play it right, you can draw a decent amount of cards. The blue one, however, I'm not sure how well it shows up on camera, but this is actually bold. And it says each time you roll that symbol, basically, so the black part of the white and black die, you discard a card. So while that is out, because it's in bold, that affects every challenge that you do because it's in bold. This one, it only affects this particular card because it's not bold. So this is probably a decent first target for us, just because every time we roll this, we don't want to have to discard cards. And that's really it in terms of the gameplay. You're going to be playing cards from your hand to try to defeat those progress, to go down further and further into the well. Eventually, we will get to Callous. There are 3 different Callous cards that come with the game. I shuffled up. You're supposed to shuffle up and deal 1 at random, so that's what I did. All of them on the back, though, have the same mechanic of putting 10 progress tokens on this, and there are ways that those will come off. And again, if all 10 of those come off before we get to the bottom of the well, we lose. So we don't want to do that. Now, each game also comes with 2 heroes that you can play, and I have chosen a Valera Helmsman as the hero I'm going to be playing with. I believe she is also, Josh and I recently played Kinfire Chronicles, which is kind of what got me interested in this world and this game. So I picked these up, and he kind of, strong-armed me into it, of course. And I think this is who I'm playing in that. I don't 100% remember. It's been a few weeks. But she has an ability. For every bow and arrow, and you'll notice on some of my cards, there are this little bow and arrow symbol, and it's not all of them have them, but some of them do. But for each one of those, I play as an action or a boost. I can add 1 progress to any challenge not currently being attempted. So if I were doing that against this one and I had 2 bows and arrows, then I could add 2 progress to any of the other 3, which is kind of cool. This here is the Lantern card. So in this world, in the lore of this world, these lanterns are kind of what protects us, basically. So the main town has a lantern left over. It's actually a lighthouse that uses this, and it's Kinfire. And that Kinfire is kind of what protects us throughout the world. Now, the lantern is kind of a pretty powerful card. It starts face down. The deck will have a way to flip it face up, and then once it's face up, it's kind of a one-time use per time that you face it up. So once I use it, it'll go face down again, and I could potentially get it later as well. But every hero has one of those, which again is kind of unique to the hero as well. And then this is our deck here. And in a solo game, you start with 8 cards. So I have drawn my 8 cards. Yeah, and I think we're ready to go. Now our cards will also have abilities on it too. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll just go over the ones that we use. So I do think though, we actually do want to start with this blue one, just like in my example, because discarding a card is bad times. So we are going to go ahead and play this card here, Capture Rune. This card does have an ability. If you fail a combat, ignore the penalty. The penalty being this part right here. So if I fail this, I don't have to discard the 2 cards, which is neat. This also does have a bow and arrow, so I want to pay attention to that. Now, for the abilities on the cards, you are only going to get the ability of the card you play as an action. You are not, if I to use this card as a boost, which I might, if I use this card as a boost, I do not get this action. It is only when you're playing it as the actual action. Otherwise, when you're doing a boost, you're just looking at the boost value on the bottom. You're ignoring everything else. All right, I do have this standing tall too. This is how I can flip my lantern. So I believe every character, at least from what I've played so far, will have a way to flip their lantern. And a lot of times it also is a way to get rid of exhaustion cards, which you want to get rid of exhaustion cards. They get shuffled back in, but in the other 2 versions of the game, the more you get, the more likely it is you're just going to lose. In the one, it says, hey, if you have a copy of this card and this card, you lose. So the more exhaustion cards you draw, the higher the chance that you're going to lose. So because this one will allow me to ignore the negative penalty, I think I am just going to boost it effectively here with this one here on the bottom. So that is 3 plus 1 is 4. I do have 2 in the boost here as well as on the card. I do have 2 bow and arrow symbols. I'm going to go ahead and put progress then on this planetarium. We're going to try to get above the 7 on this one eventually so that we can draw some cards without having to exhaust. So that is a total of 4 progress. So we roll the dice. All right. We've got 1, 2, and 3. So that is going to be a total of 7 progress, which is not enough to take this out. So we're going to put the 7 on there. Pretty good roll, though. I'll take those for the rest of this play. And we normally would then do the penalty. You know what? I actually read that wrong. This is if you fail a combat, and this is a trap. So we are going to do the penalty because it's a trap card, not a combat card. So that means I have to discard 2 cards. Okay. I'm going to discard these 2 red cards. These cards will also go away into my discard pile. There we go. And that's effectively a turn. So now you're just going to kind of rinse and repeat that. If you ever need more cards, or if you ever just want new cards, you discard the rest of your hand, you draw an exhaustion card, and then you draw back up to whatever the value is at the start of the game, which again in solo is 8. But if you're playing 2-player, I think it's 6 that you would draw to. I'm not sure. It's in the rule book. So I still have 4 cards left, though. I don't think that I need to draw more yet. So now on this next round, I can choose to go after that one again, or I can choose a different target if I want to, which I don't think I want to. I think I do want to take that out. However, playing cards is optional. If you don't play cards, you can't boost cards, but you can still roll the dice. And there's only 1 needed left on there. So I am not going to play the card. I'm just going to take my chances rolling the dice. Now, if I do not get a blue here, it's a failure. I'll have to discard 2 more cards. I got a blue and I got the white wild, so that card has been defeated. So we're just going to take this progress. We're going to put it back in our little progress bins. And then we're going to get the reward after we knock our board around a bit. The reward is 3 and then kind of a double down arrow, which means 3 of these are going to be discarded. And then another one will come out to replace that one. This, you're supposed to set it aside. Any mission that you, or any well card that you successfully complete, you're supposed to set aside. I haven't found a reason why yet. I'm sure there are some. One of the heroes has a lantern card that basically says anything that you destroy with that lantern card, you can tuck underneath it, and then if a copy of that card comes out later, it goes away immediately. But for the time being, I'm just going to tuck this over here. We have completed one of our missions. Okay, this new one, if you gain any exhaustion, lose the game. So Yeah, we want to get rid of that one as soon as possible as well, because we are down to 4 cards. So that's going to be our next target here. It is a green card. I'm not sure how well the green and the blue on camera are showing up in terms of being different colors. They are colorblind friendly. There are different symbols, diamonds versus squares versus triangles that you can tell. Okay. So this standing tall I can play, and this is how I can flip my lantern. But it can't be boosted. That's the whole thing with that one. So I don't think I'm not gonna worry about flipping my lantern yet. Those are usually pretty powerful. I think I might save that for the boss. So we've got quick shot. After this action, if you have any bows left in your hand, you may return this card to your hand if you have the bow and arrow symbol left in your hand. So like fleet arrow, if I were to keep fleet arrow in my hand, I would be able to pull quick shot back. Hone reflexes here. If attempting a trap, ignore 1 damage. This is a puzzle. Oh, so there are 4. Puzzles, obstacles, traps, and combat. And fleet arrow, after this action, draw 2 cards. So that's not terrible at all. If we fail this one, we have to discard another card. So I really do want to try to get past this. Okay, we are going to use our fleet arrow. So fleet arrow says after this action, draw 2 cards. It is worth 2. We are going to use standing tall to boost that by 3. And then we are going to use quick shot to boost it by another 1 and give us another bow and arrow. So we've got 2 plus 4 is 6 with 2 bows and arrow symbols, which again, I'm going to do this one. So we've got 6. We're going to roll the dice. If we get 2, we have cleared the closing gateway. We did not. We got 1. Okay, so we are going to put 1 less progress on there than what we need. Our original 6 plus this 1. We have failed it, which means we need to discard a card. I only have 1 card, so I'm going to discard it. However, Fleet Arrow does come back to my hand. I'm not sure order of operations on there, but Fleet Arrow is, I think, the one that I want to keep anyway. So after this action, I'm sorry, no, it doesn't come back to my hand. I get to draw 2 cards. So I'll get discarded, but I draw 2 cards. Okay. Well, this isn't looking great, but at least it's been discards only. We haven't taken any hits to our health yet. All right, so we have some 2 new cards here. Sharp Eyes. You don't roll this turn, is what Sharp Eyes says, and which is a good thing and a bad thing. If we had something out that had a negative effect for this side of the die, then we don't really want to roll. But otherwise, if you're counting on that, you need to make sure you math for that one. And then we have Well Traveled. If attempting an obstacle, you may re-roll once for free. This is not an obstacle. This is a puzzle. So we only need 1. So again, I'm going to take a chance, and I'm just going to roll the dice. Hoping for a green. Of course, we get 4 green. Why not? Why wouldn't you? All right, so this one is going to clear. When this one clears, 4 cards go from the well. We'll set this over in our victory pile there. Whoops, we don't need 1, 2, 3, and 4, plus a replacement. It is the exact same card, a closing gateway, which isn't great. I'll tell you that. Okay. We're gonna try to clear this obstacle, the planetarium down there. So we're going to use our well-traveled card. If you're attempting an obstacle, you may reroll once for free, and then we are going to boost that with our Sharp Eyes, which gives us +1 to green, which this is wild, and we are going after a green. So we have 3, so we are going to clear this. However many we roll on our dice, basically, we get to draw that many cards, because that would be excess. So we're hoping for the exact same roll we just got. Seems pretty unlikely. That's 2. I don't think I'm going to chance it. It says I can re-roll once for free, but 2 isn't terrible. So I will draw 2 cards. And that does, oh, I'm sorry. I also had one bow and arrow symbol. So I will put a progress on the gateway. Okay. This one has a reward of 2 cards from the well to the well discard. And then, oh boy, that's a 14. That's a large number. It also has bold. Once this challenge is completed, all non-combat challenges enter play with 2 progress on them. Okay. So that's a good one to defeat for future cards that would be of the combat variety, which currently we only have 1 of those out. They'd come in with 2 on them. So that's fun. And there's no negative for trying that one. Okay. We do need to get rid of this, though. We might potentially lose the game already because we need to put 7 more on there. Because if we gain an exhaust token, we lose. That's what that says, or an exhaust card. All right, discard at the start of any turn to discard a challenge with no progress on it. Okay. After this action, you may either draw a card or move up to 2 progress from any card to a challenge. Oh boy. They're both 2 bonus and they're both 3 for themselves. We're going to use the Noble Education as our action. After this action, you may either draw a card or move up to 2 progress from any card to a challenge. So that's going to give us an option for the draw card there so that we maybe, if we don't hit this, we will lose. And then I'm going to boost it with this 2. So I'm coming at it with 5. There's already 1 on it. So I need 2 of these to be green. Only 1 of them is green. So that's going to put us 1 short. So after this action, we are either going to draw a card or move up to 2 progress. Well, we could move 1 progress because it says from any card to a challenge. So I could move 1 from Callous over to there and complete it. Or I could draw a card, and if it doesn't work on green, we're just going to have to roll the dice next turn because we don't want to actually exhaust. So we're going to go ahead and pull 1 over so that we complete it. I'm not sure that was the smart thing to do, but we need to exhaust to get more cards. So this one is completed. The reward for completing this one is to move 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have an event. The Healing Pool. All right. Regain 3 health, then remove 2 progress from Callous and discard this card. I believe these happen immediately. I'm actually going to look that up quick because that is not even remotely helpful for us right now if they do happen immediately because we haven't lost any health yet. So that is something that if we can choose to do later. Nope, you choose an event card. You just read the instructions. So that one's just going to sit there for right now. We'll wait to see if we lose some health before we potentially get rid of that one. All right, so I don't have any cards. So I need to exhaust. So I'm going to take a card, and we're going to see what happens here. Looming Doom. If you've reached the bottom of the well, suffer 2 damage. Then shuffle this card back into the exhausted deck. Okay, we have not reached the bottom of the well, so that's not terrible, but it does get shuffled back in. So that's something to kind of remember for the future. Once we reach the bottom of the well and we kind of start the boss fight, that card's in there. So it could potentially just be straight up 2 damage if we draw that one. All right, but for now, that wasn't terrible. So that was our exhausted card, and now you draw up to your kind of original hand size, which again is 8. I am 2 shy. So just shuffle up like any deck builder, and we'll draw 2 more. Okay, so we have the event that we kind of just want to leave alone. We'll have to see what colors we draw here. Considering we just got an awful lot of green and blue, I imagine we're going to get some red. Yeah, we've got some red. Okay. So let's see here. Our Crystal Brute. If this challenge would be discarded during your turn, discard your hand instead. Okay, so that 1 card that would allow us to discard another challenge. Don't want to do that one. The Exquisite Bloom. If failed, discard 1 card for every progress this challenge still needs to be completed. Okay, that's a nice one though in terms of its reward. 5 cards go from the well down. Okay, so let's see here. I think we're going to do our best. I think we're going to try to take out that Exquisite Bloom. So we are going to use our Trailblazer, which is worth 4. And again, a red card. Its ability, -4 if attempting a challenge with progress on it. So there's no progress on that card. We're okay there. We are then going to boost that, I think. Oh boy. I want to defeat that thing. We're going to boost that with our Solid Shot, which is another heavy hitter, but it is a boost of 3 plus a bow and arrow. With the bow and arrow symbol, we'll go ahead and put 1. Start working on that Callous' Cipher there. All right, so this is a total of 7. I just need one of these to come up red, or bad things will happen. Okay, we get 3 red, so that's good, I guess. And this will get cleared. So again, the reward on that one is 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a replacement card. Okay, this one also has a bold ability. Each time another challenge is discarded, suffer 2 damage. Okay, well, we don't want that up there any more than we wanted any of the other ones up there. So I think that is our next target here. So our spider arrow hits for 4, but we have to take a damage for each time it was boosted, which, you know, isn't great. We're going to use our Noble Education, which I believe we used this one before. Once I got this one in the shuffle. After this action, you may either draw a card or move up to 2 progress from any card to a challenge. So that is going to be a 3 plus a boost of 2 with 1 bow and arrow. And we will put that again on the cipher there. Okay, so that's 5. We need 2 more to clear this. It is green. We got none. That is great. So we will put our 5 progress on it, but that is a failure. The fail condition on this one is we lose a health. So we are down to 9 health. Just make sure there's nothing else out there that would make that negative for us. Okay. Well, we do have a green. Oh, I guess I should read all my cards. Valora's Bow. If this card is in your hand, add 1 to the value of any bow and arrow you play as an action. So I could have done that. I assume that adds to the actual bow and arrow, so another one would go on here. All right, all right. Can't be played as an action. That's just a boost of 4. We definitely want to keep that. Unfortunately, the only card we have to play is that bow. And it would clear it. Do we just try rolling the dice to see if it... Yeah, we're just going to try. We're not going to play a card. We're just going to try rolling the dice. We need 2 green. We got 1, which means we're going to take another hit. And then we're just going to try rolling again because... Yeah, there we go. So that has been cleared. Okay. And that gets rid of 2 cards off the top here. 1 and 2. Oh boy, got another event. Discard this card and a challenge. If it is a husk, discard your hand and draw a new hand without gaining exhaustion. Okay. That's not bad. If we get a husk, which I'm not sure, I don't think we've seen a husk yet. At least not in what we've cleared. No. So I'm not sure what color that is or what nasty stuff it does. But we will be on the lookout. Okay. So we don't want to do that yet, which means I think it's the Crystal Brute. Okay. We're going to do Shot to the Knee, which is 2 plus 1 for every bow and arrow in your hand, which I have just 1, and I will reveal what's the value of any bow and arrow you play as an action. I think this does go there. So 2 plus 1 is 3. This will make it 4. And then we're going to do our compassionate to make it 8. So we don't really even need to roll for this one. We will, just to see how much we wasted. Oh, just 1. Okay. All right. So that is the Crystal Brute gone. Reward for that one is 3 cards. So 1, 2, 3, and I kind of want it to be a husk so we can do that one event. It's not. It is the Gravesite. If completed, add 2 progress to Callous. If discarded, lose the game. So there's another way to lose the game. We don't want to discard that one. We want to complete that one. But only holding 2 red with no boost for it. So it might be time to do another exhaustion. Yeah, I think so. Well, you know what? Before we do that, if completed, set this challenge aside. There's no negative effect to doing Callous's Cipher, because there is no, there's no defeatability on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this too. Yeah, by itself. This can't boost it because this is green. And then we'll roll. So that will add 2 more. So we'll add 4 more there. We didn't get that one close, but I mean, we technically could just roll dice until it's cleared, which seems weird. I want to make sure that I'm playing that right. Play a skill card as an action if desired. So yeah, we don't have to play a skill card as an action. We could just roll dice until this is cleared, and then get the bonus for it. So I'm not 100% sure. There really should be a negative on that. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we're going to do that. And I'm not even going to roll the dice because there's no negative for, there's nothing out currently as a negative for completing it. So we're just going to say we rolled dice until we cleared it. And now anytime a combat comes out, and this also lets us get rid of 4. And anytime a combat comes out, it gets 2 progress on it. This is, of course, not a combat. Okay. And then, there we go. Each time you fail another challenge and roll that, suffer 1 damage. So if this were out with this, most definitely would not have wanted to do what I just did, but it wasn't. So I'm going to go ahead and discard the bow. We're going to draw an exhaustion. Life leached away. Remove 2 progress from Callous. 10 if you've reached the bottom of the well. Then shuffle this card back into the exhausted deck. So he's going to get, he's down to 7 now on him. And this gets shuffled back, but we will get 8 fresh cards. All right. The Seeking Orbs, the reward there is 5 cards into the discard. So that might be our target. We'll have to see what color cards we get in our hand here. Lots of green. So yeah, that worked out, I think. Okay. Each time you fail another challenge. Okay. We are going to go after the Seeking Orbs. So we need green cards to the front, please. Lots of them. It is a trap, and this card specifically says, if attempting to trap, ignore 1 damage. So we could play this one, and we would not take that damage, which seems like a pretty good idea. Let's see if we want to boost it with anything here. Yeah, boost it with Quick Shot, and we'll boost it with Sharp Eyes. So 2, 3, 4, but that is 2 bows and arrows, which again we can put on a challenge that we're not currently attempting. So we'll put those both on the gravesite. So that is a total of 4, and we're attempting to trap, so we will not take this damage because this is not going to clear it, but 4 plus 1, 2, 3. Okay. Certainly sounds like 7. Normally we would take a damage, but because of the card we played, we will not take a damage. Thank you, Honed Reflexes. All right, so that card needs 4 more, and we're going to be rolling these. So we're gonna do Fleet Arrow, which after the action, draw 2 cards. Do we want to boost it? We can't. So we're gonna do Fleet Arrow, and we are gonna hope to get 2 green. We got 1, so that's gonna add 3 onto it. We will take another damage, so we are down to 7. And we will draw 2 cards though because of Fleet Arrow. Okay. Now, I don't think we're going to play a card. We're just going to take our chances and hope we roll either a green or that wild. There's a couple greens. So this guy has been cleared. There we go. And 5 cards. We'll go to the discard. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hey, there's a husk. That's good news. Except that we are pretty full on our hand here. So we're going to leave that out there. Oh, it is also a combat that came out. So we'll put 2 on it. All right. Grave sites. If completed, if discarded, lose the game. Well, we're going to try this Standing Tall. So this is the card that allows us to either get rid of an exhaustion or flip our lantern. So it cannot be boosted though. So it is only a 3. So I need 2 red from this. I got 1. So that's going to add 4. We will take 2 damage. Yikes. But we will flip our lantern. And now you can see what the lantern is. It is Snipe. You do not roll this turn. X is equal to any value from 0 to 7, your choice. Okay. So the reason that that kind of makes sense is that certain cards will say something along the lines of, if you exceed what you need for progress, a negative thing might happen. So this card can be 0 to 7, and you can just use it for what you need. So in the case of the boss, we're most likely going to use it for 7 unless they have some weird stuff going on. So for the time being, though, we're just going to keep that up and keep that handy. Cool. And this is, I think, who I was playing because I had Snipe in Kinfire Chronicles as well. Okay. Standing Tall will go away. We have failed that one, which is fine. So I don't think I did this. Whenever this challenge enters play, remove 1 progress from Callous. I do not think I did that. So we're going to remove 1 progress from Callous. We're going to activate some of these events now, I think. So this one here, we're going to regain 3 health and then remove 2 progress from Callous, but discard this card. So we're going to go back up to 8. We're going to remove 2. We're playing this a little dangerously here. It might bite us, but we'll see. This card then goes away, and we get a new card. Sapience Test. If failed, you may discard this challenge instead of suffering its penalty. Okay. Oh, wow. If you complete that one, 13 cards go away. Interesting. All right, now before we do the other one, I want to use some cards because the other one is going to make us discard our hand, but we get to draw a new hand without exhausting. So I'm going to use some of these cards to clear up what we have out there. Okay. So we have Master Tracker. This card adds no progress, but if you complete a combat, double any... Oh, nope, the gravesite's not combat. The only combat is Husk, which we don't want to do yet. I think we might still do this, though, just to get the gravesite out of the way. Yeah. So we're going to use this, and then we're going to boost it with 1, which is all the gravesite needs, is 1. So that's going to get rid of our gravesite. I'm not going to bother rolling because there's no negative or positive effects that could happen with that roll. This just allows us to get rid of 2, which isn't a lot, but again, We're really just hoping to, there we go. All right, just get through some cards here. Okay. We're going to have to discard all of our cards anyway. Interesting. So we're going to go after Sapiens Test. We're going to use Acid Arrow. And this says, after this action, place 2 extra progress on the challenge you chose for the Guardian from Afar ability, which is the ability that we're using the bows and arrows for to add progress on things. So it also has a bow and arrow, and we are going to boost it with another bow and arrow. So basically it's 2 bows and arrows, then we're going to get that plus 2. So we're going to put 4 progress over here. We are going to fail this test, but this says if failed, you can, instead of doing the penalty, you can just discard the card, which is what we're going to do. So we're just going to discard this card. Oops. And then we have to replace it with the Hungry Chest. When this challenge enters play, move 1 progress from every other card to it. Oh boy. So we're really getting close with Callous there. Okay, we are now going to activate this event up top. Discard this card and a challenge. If it is Husk, discard your hand and draw a new card without gaining exhaustion. So we are going to discard our hand, we are going to discard Husk, and we are going to discard this event. Because you discard it, you don't get the rewards because we did not complete it. But we are now down to, I think, just 2 cards over here. And we're going to get our new hand without getting exhaustion. And that Hungry Chest only needs 2 more. We don't get anything for completing it. Extraction Room. If failed, remove 1 progress from Callous, plus 1 extra progress for each Husk in play. If completed, we get to discard 3 cards and add 2 progress to Callous. So this is what we're hoping to go for, because it's already got 3 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's see though, because we need some green. Well, there's 1. Yeah. Oh boy, lots of green. Okay. It is an obstacle card. We need 5 more on it. Okay, we're going to use our Noble Education for 3. Quick Shot will boost for 1 and give us a bow and arrow symbol that I don't think we need, because if we clear this, we should be ready for the boss fight, so that actually won't happen. And then, man, we're just going to hope to roll at least 1 green. All right, we got the wild, so that is enough. And after this action, you can either draw a card or move 2 progress. We're going to draw the card because the progress isn't going to super matter. So once this is completed, which it is, 3 cards will go from here. 1, 2, there are none left. When there are none left, we clear the other trap cards, or not trap cards, well cards. And then we flip Callous. I'm not sure if those progress matter anymore. All right, we have a combat card, the Art of War. So he has +5 difficulty for every face-up gauntlet card. So the gauntlet cards are right out here outside of play. I do not think we need these, but just in case, we had 3 on there. Okay. So here are the gauntlet cards. These are basically his own personal kind of well cards. These are what we have to get out. Currently, we cannot hit him. He does not have a color. It looks an awful lot like blue, but it's not. He doesn't have a color. They don't have a color? I'm not sure. But as we defeat these, we will flip them, and 3 of the 4, I think, will give him some type of vulnerability to one of the 3 colors. So depending on what we go after, he will then have a vulnerability to that color, and then we can start attacking him with that color. The more of those we clear, the easier he'll be, because his ability is +5 difficulty for every face-up gauntlet card. So currently, he's 40 difficulty. Okay, let's see what these other cards do here. So he's got a combat. This challenge cannot be discarded. If you complete this challenge, flip it over. Sure. This challenge cannot be completed. If you discard this challenge, flip it over. So we have to figure out a way to discard a challenge. And that's the only way to flip this one over. When attempting this challenge, don't roll. If you complete or discard this, flip it over. And up top, we've got in bold, so this affects everything until we flip it. You cannot complete Callous's challenges and win the game. If you complete or discard this challenge, flip it over. You cannot complete Callous's challenge and win the game. Okay. So we have to, if we don't complete that one, we cannot win. Yikes. Okay. So I think that's the first one we have to do, which if I were a betting man, I'd say then on the back of that, he most likely does not give us an invulnerability. But that's all right, because we'll flip it over and then that ability will not be out there anymore. So it is green. We do still have some green cards in our hands. So let's see here. Man. Trying to figure out what I know. The one exhaust said you get rid of 10 progress. Oh, okay. If he has progress on him, we're fine. I'm sorry. We're doing okay. Got to remember, if we do get exhausted, some of them do take away progress off of Callous as well. So we have to time our exhaustion well. Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. Well, okay. Well, let's see what we have here for green. It is a combat. Once the challenge is completed, all non-combat challenges enter play with 2 progress on it. Now these aren't challenges, so these are gauntlets, so they wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. Do we have anything special for combat? We do for red. Nope, that doesn't even do anything. All right, well, let's just see what we got here. We're going to play Valora's Bow for 2. We are then going to boost that with Compassionate for 4. And I guess Hone Reflexes? Yeah, we'll do Hone Reflexes. So 5 bonus or boost plus 2, so that is 7 going towards the immortality. Let's see what we roll here. 2 more, so 9. All right. Okay. The negative for not completing that, we take a damage. Down to 7. I don't think we're going to play a card. I think we're just going to try to beat that guy with the dice roll. We need 1 green. We got 1 green. So this is going to flip. Okay. It has an effect on it. When rolling, if none of the 3 skill dice match the challenge's color, turn this card face up. Oh, boy. All right. All right. When attempting this challenge, don't roll. Okay. We do have to discard 3 cards, though, if we fail it. If you complete discard, we'll flip it over. Okay. Man, I really wanted to save my snipe for the boss, but honestly, I think we need some help clearing these things out. So we're going to use snipe. We're going to say it's 7, and it says do not roll. And then we're going to add We can only add 1 to it unless we clear that. This challenge cannot be discarded. If you complete this challenge, flip it over. All right, we're going to go after the red one. So this is 7, 8, 9 on the boost. And we cannot and do not want to roll, but we cannot roll. And we just flip this over. That does clear this. Callous is now vulnerable to red actions. So we can target the boss. Now the boss has his own kind of special thing here. For him, if you try to attack him when you're attacking him, if you roll that side of the wild die there, you take a hit, you take a damage. So, okay, this challenge cannot be completed. If you discard this challenge, flip it over. I currently don't have a way to discard a challenge. Which means we just have to do this thing. When attempting this challenge, don't roll. But you discard 3 cards. I only have 1 card, so I'm not sure on the rules of that. We're just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to hit it for 2. We don't roll, and then we have to discard 3, which is the rest of our hand. And then I'm going to go ahead and get an exhaustion. Each time you discard 1 or more cards from your hand, discard 1 extra. So that is an exhaustion that we will keep. Not that we want to, but we will keep that one. And hopefully don't have to discard anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. We blue. Okay. We're going to attack Callous. We're going to use Standing Tall. So this is just a 3. This is the one, though. We cannot boost it. However, this does let us bring our lamp back. So we are 3, and we are going at it. This is red, so we need to roll a red, which we did not. We also rolled that, so we are down to 6. And because we did not roll a red with the 3 skill dice, this guy is back. However, we did put 3 on Callous. Yikes. Okay. Oh boy. So that is a green. We need to go after that green. Prior to that, I'm going to go ahead and use Snipe right away for 7. Flip it over. And we don't roll, not that it matters anymore because that guy's back up. But we're going to hit this guy to clear him out. Okay, he is now vulnerable to blue. But we cannot defeat him and win the challenge while this card is up. We can still put progress on him, but we can't actually complete the challenge and win the game. I think that's my understanding of it. Doesn't matter. I think we're going to go after that guy anyway. So let's see here. He is... Don't really want to do that. The other thing I'm not sure on is her ability to put one progress token on any challenge not currently being attempted. These certainly reference like their challenges when attempting this challenge. So I'm going to assume that I can still do that, but it doesn't currently matter because I don't think I have a way to discard that. And we don't want to try this one anyway because the penalty for failing it, which we can't succeed it, is 2 exhaustion. Okay. After this action, draw 2 cards. That seems pretty good. Yep. All right. So Fleet Arrow. After this action, draw 2 cards. So that is worth 2. And then we're going to add a 2 bonus to it. And that's it, because I have no more green bonuses. So that's 4. It is 2 bows and arrows. So what is her ability? For each bow and arrow you play as an action or boost, you may add 1 progress to any challenge not currently being attempted. Well, that's a challenge not currently being attempted. All right, so that is 4. 5, 6, 7. That is a fail, though. So we will take damage, and we are down to 5. These will go away. However, after this action, draw 2 cards. 1. We got to shuffle these back in. And 2. Okay. Okay. Well, I just found my way to discard this. So discard at the start of any turn to discard a challenge with no progress on it. So we are going to discard this, and he is now available, vulnerable to green. Probably should have. Well, no, that thing, that guy up there only needs 3 more. So we are going to do Standing Tall, and Standing Tall, I am not going to boost it because we don't need to, and this is going to allow us to flip our snipe. So that is going to finish this off. All right, so now with all 4 of those currently completed, this one can reflip back over though. But with all of those currently completed, we can do any color towards him. Now it has to be the same color, like the rules for the rest of the game, that, you know, if we're doing red, we have to boost it with red and all that. But we can choose whatever color we want to go after him. Okay. I think we're going to choose red. And also because all 4 of those are done, his ability +5 difficulty for every face up. So he currently needs 15 more done to him for the win. Which, that's not a small amount, but we do have our snipe, which can be 7 of that. So, let's go ahead and solid shot, which is 4. Actually, this might be 1, 2, maybe 4, 7. Yeah, we're going to do this way. Shot to the knee, +1 for each bow and arrow in your hand. I have 3, so that's 5. This is going to add 3 more, so that's 8. And that's all I can add. So we're going to do 8. And roll. We want our red to show up so this guy doesn't turn back up. We got a red, so 8, 9. However, we did roll the black die on the black-white die, whatever it's called, thing, which means we will take a damage. Puts us down to 4. Okay. However, he's at 14. I'm going to snipe him for 7. We're going to go 1 over what we need to. We're not going to roll. We're not going to boost it. We've defeated him. That is Kinfire Delve. Callous's Lab, specifically. The other ones are, like I said, pretty much the same game with different characters, different bosses. Each boss does have 3 copies. The exhaustion decks are also different. They kind of work with the boss a little bit. So, but yeah, this is a fun, relatively quick one. It reminds me a little bit of kind of one deck dungeon, maybe a little 20 strong, relatively small footprint. And yeah, it's a pretty good time. Seeing how the different decks work in terms of certain cards that will, like for instance, the one event we had that if you got rid of it with a husk, you basically got a free card reset. That's really neat. In one of the other sets, there's a way to win the game with these cards. If you've defeated, I think it's 3 specific cards. If you have defeated them and added them into your pile, you win. Like before you even get to the boss, which is, again, I kind of like that. I like multiple ways to win. I like multiple ways to lose, and this definitely has that as well. You can mix and match heroes in it, which is kind of cool. Like I said, each one comes with 2. There are 3 out currently. I'm not sure if there are more planned. I think there are 6 heroes in Kinfire Chronicles, and I believe those are the same 6 heroes in the 3 Kinfire Delve. So if they come out with more heroes for Chronicles or an expansion for Chronicle, you might see more of these as well. But yeah, this is very interesting. The card play is pretty fun. Having to watch what colors you're doing. She specifically, her ability is probably the more, of the 3 I've played, might be the more fun one for me, just because some of them you're not doing it necessarily every turn, whereas with hers, you could potentially be using her ability every turn to add out that progress. But yeah, it's a pretty neat game. It's a fun one. Josh kind of made me interested with this one because Kinfire Chronicles we both enjoyed quite a bit, so I'm glad I picked these 3 up. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I did. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.